This is Batman. Security level Omega. Password Delta Charlie 27 5 1939. Enable new folder. Title Batman Rogue Files. Batman Rogue File Name The Joker. During the week of the Joker's first killing spree, Arkham Asylum for the criminally insane reopened its doors after being closed for years. I keep telling myself it was only a coincidence. The Joker is easily the most dangerous individual I have ever met, and I've met gods. On paper, he doesn't appear to be much of a threat. He's an average hand-to-hand combatant, not particularly trained in any fighting style. He doesn't possess any extra-normal abilities or metahuman powers, and while he employs an elaborate selection of deadly gags, his arsenal never proves extraordinarily daunting. What separates the Joker from the pack is his mind, or some would argue the lack thereof. The Joker is a walking engine of chaos with no regular method of operations. He doesn't seem to need a reason to do what he does, which makes it nearly impossible to predict his next move. Professor Dennis O'Neill, one of the world's leading experts in criminal psychiatry, said it best in his rather sensational best-selling book, Laughing at You, The Joker Story. On one particular day, the Joker might spare a man's life simply because he liked his shoelaces. The next day, he might kill a man simply because he liked his shoelaces. 2 weeks after his book's publication, O'Neill was found dead in his kitchen, his face twisted into a rictus grin and his head bound in shrink wrap. This is how the Joker operates. The world is a sick and twisted joke to him, and only he seems to get the punchline. It's this chaotic behavior that gives him the world's most disturbing and effective poker face. The Joker can shift in an instant from being an elaborately costumed criminal out to make a gaudy spectacle of Gotham into a psychotic killer, attempting to elevate murder to the level of fine art. And somewhere along the way, he became obsessed with the concept of the Batman, as if I'm nothing more than the straight man to his jokes. Joker's obsession has led him to do irreparable damage to those few individuals who have gotten close to me over the years. He shot and paralyzed Barbara Gordon and murdered Jim Gordon's wife, Sarah, with about as much thought as a person gives to swatting a fly. And then there was what he did to Jason. The Joker's background is as clouded with mystery as his motivations. Joker himself has told several conflicting tales about how he came to be, the most legitimate of which implies that the Joker was originally a failed stand-up comedian, thrust into his current lifestyle by a traumatic incident involving the death of his wife. Circumstances led to his donning the role of the masked criminal known as the Red Hood, and during a botched robbery at the Ace chemical plant, he fell into a vat of toxic chemicals. The exposure to these chemicals bleached his skin white, turned his hair green, and twisted his mind into something unrecognizable. At least that's how he tells it. But the truth is, no one knows for certain how the Joker came to be. His past is as fluid and changeable as his whims. One day, he might tell a sob story about a tragic loss. The next, he might claim to have been born this way, pure evil from the very start. And that is exactly why he's so dangerous. The Joker thrives in ambiguity, in chaos. He's not bound by logic, reason, or even his own past. He has no rules, no boundaries, and because of that, there's no way to predict him, let alone stop him. But while he remains shrouded in mystery, one thing is clear. The Joker is a mirror, reflecting the worst parts of humanity back at us. He laughs at the absurdity of life, at our futile attempts to impose order on a world that inherently defies it. And somewhere in that madness, he finds meaning, or at least amusement. He exists to challenge me, to push me to the very edge of my moral code. Sometimes I wonder if he sees me as his ultimate joke, the man who refuses to kill him, no matter how many lives he destroys, no matter how many times he escapes to wreak havoc again. It's a game to him. To me, it's a tragedy I can never escape. But I won't let him win. Not now. Not ever. The Joker's unpredictability, his lack of restraint, and his ability to manipulate and destroy everything in his path make him the single most dangerous person I've ever faced. But I've learned one thing. Even chaos can be contained. Not controlled, but contained. The Joker thrives on unpredictability, but he's never truly random. His obsession with me gives him a pattern, a subtle thread that can be followed if you know where to look. It's a dangerous game of cat and mouse, and every move I make has to be calculated, deliberate. Because one wrong step with the Joker is all it takes for everything to come crashing down. And as long as I'm still breathing, I won't let him tear this city apart. I'll face him again and again and again, no matter how many times it takes, because that's what Batman does. Rogue's contingency file code name, Clown Prince of Crime. The Joker craves attention, especially mine. His greatest fear is being ignored, and when neither I nor the GCPD acknowledge his games, it triggers his insecurity. This fear of irrelevance makes him erratic, prone to reckless mistakes. Exploit this weakness. By denying him the spotlight he desperately seeks, you disrupt his chaotic focus. When his need for recognition overpowers his instinct for survival, that's when he's most vulnerable. Use the distraction to strike swiftly, neutralizing him before he regains control.